and welcome to the Music Lens podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee.
We spent like a minute doing nothing. It's okay. Anyways, so,
right.
it is June. Yes. We are halfway through the year. How's your year going? Are you doing well? Hopefully, I think we're finally starting to settle in here. Finally starting to settle into the year. Hopefully this weather is not as dreary because it's been dreary here in Nashville. And I'm ready for summer.
Ready for summer, ready for CMA Fest.
Yes, which we will be going
which will be this week when this comes out. So yes. So looking forward to that.
Before we started recording, we were just talking about how ACM, like the movie theater, wants to start doing more like concerts in theaters, like recording a concert and then like putting it in a theater to make money, which is it's one of those things where I don't like going to concerts in theaters. Like even like the diehard Jonas Brothers fan was not going to the movie in theaters. I think I did, but that wasn't like my friends were like, oh, do you want to go? And I was like, sure. And like I think the Hannah Montana Miley Cyrus one was, and the Katy Perry Teenage Dream one were the only two I have ever actively gone to, and it was more to see the behind the scenes stuff than it was the concert portion of it. Because if I'm gonna go to a concert, I'm gonna go in person. Like that's just, I didn't even see the Taylor Eras tour once because I went to the concerts.
Okay. Yeah. Did you watch Rep?
No, I went to the concert. I experienced it. I don't need to watch it on a screen. That's not fun for me. I love a good... I love going to things, not sitting on my ass, not doing anything. I like to go dance. I like to go to concert. Okay. I don't like to watch concert.
I like to go to concert.
So, but I think it's kind of smart. I mean, they saw a big tick with all the Taylor Swift interest of it, so they're like, and movie theaters are struggling. They're like, how can we get people into the theaters? Maybe a cheap like concert ticket, and then it also lets people who can't afford, you know what, I'm not knocking it, because if you can't afford to go to a concert and you really wanted to go and experience what that concert was like, because you know concerts are really one in a lifetime kinds of things, so it's like to give more people the opportunity to actually see and experience and not feel so left out. You know, I think my thing when I was in elementary school specifically, because I didn't have money to go to concerts and I wasn't going to them, like obviously it was up to my parents and they didn't really want to spend money on going to concerts. Like that wasn't what they did. A lot of my friends did, and it was always like you wore the t-shirt the next day to let everybody know that you went to a concert, and then they ask you, you know, and it like for people that like can't afford to or don't like, especially as a kid, and you don't realize that wealth differences exist in the world, it's like, it can make you feel very isolated. It's the same thing that, like, Twitter and all that stuff did to, like, people in middle school when it was first coming out. Like, oh, did you hear so-and-so was on a fight with their boyfriend on Twitter last night? Like, I got a lot of that shit. That was how a lot of people my age downloaded shit. And I just wasn't one of those people. But, like, you know, it is a fair thing. It's just not my jam, which is, you know, funny because I am... Sorry, I was thinking of something. It's just funny because I am a music person. How did we get the Netflix one, though? Didn't we had to post a picture of us watching Rep?
No, it was for Miss Americana documentary.
That's right. Never mind. Okay, I did watch that because it was a documentary.
Right, yeah. With Taylor's and then any other one where it's like the floor is a screen. You could argue, though, that if you went to it, but you were on the floor and you could not see the screen of the floor of the stage.
But I did, like, because the second night we were there, I got to see everything.
But if you only go once and you go to where you have limited visibility, or even if you're like side stage and stuff is like kind of cut off and you can't see all of it, having the concert film to watch, then you get to take in all of it, because you get all the angles and you see stuff that you missed live.
And while I do think this is all great and good and dandy, and if that's your thing, I think the other thing is, if I really want to see the show at this point, I'm going to find a live stream of somebody on TikTok, or I'm just going to find bits and pieces and put it together in my own mind, kind of a thing, and it's going to be put together that way, and I don't feel like I need to watch the show then. Yeah. Just a me thing. But anywho, that has nothing. Today we're talking new music.
That's music news. There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, because I don't have any like music news per se, but there's a couple things with
I did send us something. What did I send us?
I might have sent something today too, actually. Ed Sheeran's an independent artist now, so another one where, again, I think it's like, I feel like it's beneficial to have a label backing you to help grow your career until a certain point, and then if you can do it on your own and you can get all of the fruits of your labor for yourself and not have to have a label take a cut of it, then why not go independent?
Well, and he was somebody, even when I saw him live, he explained how he like just worked his ass off in the sense of like he went to a bar every day and like that was how he practiced. He just played songs and then he would just like sing his own originals even when no one wanted to hear them, and then like one day somebody heard A-Team and it just went from there and it got viral all on its own. And like it wasn't really, I think he might have even been independent for a while before having a label to get that song where it was anyway. So, you know, he does everything for himself. He produces his own stuff. Like he is somebody who is very in control of his own music and everything like that he can fund his own thing. You know, he probably knows how to. I think the biggest thing with artists is, in order to be independent, like, yeah, it's like, oh, they think, oh, I want to just have all of my money and all this stuff. They have to be so like, one thing about me I know is I'm not that financially savvy. I probably would need to have somebody around me to, like, help fund and, like, do all of that stuff. But, I mean, you have to make sure it's the right person, and that can be tricky in this industry because we've all seen the Billy Joels and all that stuff where managers take and don't actually explain things. You have to be involved. And I know how to be involved. It's just I want somebody else to kind of, you know, take the reins of, like, making sure everyone's getting paid. Because my ADHD brain would be like, I paid half of them, but I forgot about the other half because I just did. You know, like, if everything doesn't get done at once. Yeah.
You don't have to
You just have to have a
wear
good,
every hat.
a good business manager. Just to, you know, it's, But, yeah, he's somebody who doesn't really need.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it, too, of... another artist that we've talked about going independent is Ian Munsick, and he, like, does production stuff too. I know he has Jeremy. He has another guy who, like, will co-produce sometimes and stuff, but he also is a producer of his own stuff. So, like Ed Sheeran, like, you don't have to worry about having a label help you with that stuff and paying for that, because if you're doing it yourself, you're not really paying yourself to do it.
And right now is a good time to be independent because the labels themselves are really, like, scattering to, like, figure out what their next step is. So it's like being independent is a good thing. When, like, Chance the Rapper was doing it, it was like the labels were still so much dominating that, like, there was no breakthrough really, and he just got really lucky with his breakthrough and did it.
What was the other thing that you sent?
I sent that Fred again, an artist, made a partnership with Dropbox, and I've been seeing this a lot more at smaller concerts especially, is that, like, while it is a little frustrating because, you know, as a newer photographer in this game, it's like everyone can have a camera and be sending in really great photos. And I was watching, like, Costin Mayer's one of that is doing, like, their 11 to midnight show up in Broadway, and they said that, like, and it is smart, so, like, I get it, but, like, their best marketing tool is having people in the audience, because at Broadway shows especially, it's like a big no to have your phone out, but they're having people send in videos and photos and all that stuff. So Fred partnered with Dropbox to do this campaign where people send in photos, and at the end of the show, it gets sent through a Dropbox link, and you have all the access to all the photos of the show, so that you can, like, you know, not only, like, send in your photos, but then you'd have, like, the professional photos to repost and say, oh, I went to this thing, you know, which is smart because that's, like, what people want. But yeah, it does kind of make, like, photographers, only from the aspect of, like, a lot of times I am hired, and, like, part of it is I feel like, oh, I'm superior. I got hired to do it. But then there are people that just, like, show up with their camera at some of these places, and they want to get experience and all this stuff, and that's great for them, but they're in my way. Yeah. And I legitimately can't get around them, and I'm like, I am hired here to do a job. You are not. You need to take a step back. Like, you're not being courteous, and it's because you're learning, and that's great, and you think all this stuff, but, like, you don't get to get my angle because I got paid to be here. Like, that's how I felt with one of the shows that I did when I was hired to be a videographer, and I was trying to get like angles and stuff, and like I've had a couple different things that I was just like, okay, like none of y'all are getting paid to do this. Like, I am here and I'm gonna get my money's at, like, I got paid. I'm gonna give her the product that she deserves. Like, y'all need to get the fuck out of my way. Like,
yeah,
it's just one of those things. So
the point of the Dropbox thing is so people aren't on their phones at the concert.
So people are trying to make it like, don't worry, you will get pictures of this show. So like, they're trying to reconnect with people, and like even some artists have threatened to like put their like. It's the lot. So, okay, which I've seen people get so freaked out, but I only knew about this the first time we did it when we got to town. You did it a different time. Like, one of the first times I did it was when we were on set for the recording of Meghan Trainor and Brett Eldridge's.
I don't remember.
I don't think you weren't there.
I was there.
Oh, you were?
I don't remember locking phones up for that.
I got my phone locked up for that one. Maybe it was a different time, because I think I was by myself when I got my phone. Anyways, for CMT, what was it called? Crossroads. They would take your phone and lock them up.
They did it for the one I worked. That was Marin and Hosier.
Yeah,
and I was. At the end of the show, I held the unlock thing for people to tap it, to unlock it and get their phone. One of them would not open, and I was like, I don't know what to do here.
Oh, it wasn't that one.
We tried for so long. Eventually, it did open, but I was like, what happens if it isn't? Like, is there a way to cut through this? Like, this person needs their phone.
Was Kelsey? Did we go to that one?
I didn't go to Kelsey and Halsey. Did you go to that one?
I don't remember. Anyway, It was one of the CMT Crossroads for sure, but it was because they had a new song coming out, and so we couldn't record it because they couldn't let the new song leak.
Right.
So they had to like lock up our phones. Anyways, it was daunting. Don't get me wrong. But if you're somebody who has never experienced that and you're going to a concert, a lot of people that don't know that this is just an industry thing freak out, and they're like, whoa, and like they think it's which I get, because you know what, even though you're at a concert and like, you know, even at theaters and stuff, we've lost theater etiquette about some of this stuff where that is like supposed to be a no. You put your phone on silent. It's like a movie theater. It's like everything else. Live theater is like, you're supposed to be in this moment. Breaks everyone's focus around you when things go wrong. It breaks the actor's focus. It breaks the theater's performance. It does ruin shows. So I get it. But like, sometimes emergencies happen and you do need to be contacted, because being 3 hours off the grid at this point is like, we're just not used to it, A. And B, like, emergencies do happen, right?
Right.
And people don't like call places to be like, can you usher down somebody to go get my daughter because I need them? Like, that doesn't happen. So... But the general public freaking out about it is like funny to me, because I'm just like, A, you don't need to be attached to your phone that much unless you like legitimately have a reason to, and B, like, so some artists have threatened to do these lockbox situations, and like people are being people about it.
I do remember I worked the Kelsey Storytellers for CMT, and this was like, she performed Leave Me Again before the EP Rolling Up the Welcome Mat had dropped and stuff, and so everyone had to have their phones away specifically for that, but they weren't locked up, and they had to like really like remind people, because some people did try, and they're like, do not, because this is not out yet, we are not having this leaked. So that happens if you don't lock it up sometimes.
But some people are like a little bit like worried, like the fan base is like worried, but then like artists, it's like artists do this because they want to connect with people, so looking at just a row of phones isn't really connecting with people. And like, while I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just watch the show on a live stream, that's really not what concerts are about. And yes, I know concerts are getting ridiculously expensive, but like, they're also like, part of that is like, if I think there's a lot of different reasons of like supply and demand for this stuff, because then you could have dynamic pricing where things like then skyrocket even more. But then you could also have the fact of like independent venues and all this stuff being able to afford to have more people in, to be able to lower ticket price. Like, you can have it go the other way of like, well, because people are so invested in going to concerts and stuff, then it could like have a positive effect of like, well, now we can, you know, lower ticket sales, or we can lower this, or we can have artists that we wouldn't, because we can take a hit, a chance, not a hit, but like a chance if something goes wrong with the show. So, but we're in a time where it's like, people don't want to take chances. They want to make sure that they're going to make their money, and then and everything in life is so expensive right now. So
I think that's it for like new stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's some that are like kind of news-ish for new music. So I'll start with Brad Paisley, because he's doing something a little different with his new music that he's putting out, which I don't remember. It's been a while. I won't look it up. It's been a while since he's released stuff, other than he had a Christmas album this past year, but regular
Christmas albums don't count.
It's been a while. So I found an article from entertainmentfocus.com. I'll link it in our description. Brad Paisley isn't just releasing a new song, he's launching an entirely different way of thinking about albums. His latest project, Tacklebox, arrives less as a traditional record and more as an ever-evolving archive, pulling together decades of songwriting into something fluid, nostalgic, and refreshingly unfiltered. At the heart of Tacklebox is a simple but compelling idea: what happens when an artist opens the vault. Paisley has dipped back into a treasure trove of unreleased and unrecorded material dating all the way back to the 1990s, when his career was just beginning, blending those rediscovered songs with newly written tracks inspired by that same era. The result is a project rooted in the sounds and storytelling of country's golden age, echoing the influence of icons like Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, and Alabama, while also tipping its hat to the 80s arena country polish of George Strait and Garth Brooks. And so the first glimpse into this concept comes with Fallen, the opening release from Tacklebox, which sets the tone for what Paisley describes as a never-ending project. Rather than a fixed album cycle, Tacklebox is designed to grow over time, more like a constantly updated playlist than a traditional release. And Paisley himself likens it to giving fans direct access to his creative archive, a rolling collection of hooks and ideas that might once have been left behind. So he has released, like I said, Fallen, This Town Ain't Small Enough, Without You, and Hi-Ho Silverado, which features David Lee Murphy so far. So he's just kind of like added, like you said, to like a playlist essentially of just like constantly putting stuff out there from the archives.
Interesting. So. But then some of them aren't. Some of them are like just inspired by that time, and then like that's interesting. I feel like it combines like Volt, obviously, from like Taylor, but then also like, I mean, there are people that like that will release old stuff that never got the chance to be put out there from their early careers, when they do like their big greatest hits things and like things like that. So like, this isn't like the Volt. Taylor just made it big, but it's not a new concept. So
I mean, I kind of think of with Taylor of Vault, and then Midnight, she said, was kind of born from looking back at the older stuff, because Midnight is supposed to be like inspired from all these other years and like writing about them in the current time, I guess. So like kind of like that, I guess, of he's writing inspired by the stuff that he's rediscovering, but he's also releasing some of these tracks that were actually written back then as well. The imagery for it's kind of cool too on his Instagram. It's like a tackle box, but it's shaped like a guitar, and each time he releases one, he adds in like there's like boxes within the guitar, like a tackle box would be, and so he'll fill in another one each time a song gets released.
Interesting. So. I like the idea. It's just interesting of like, how does it ever become like a physical thing? And
it
like
have to. Physical. We all love, I feel like vinyl is definitely a thing again. CDs are still collector's items at this point, even if you can't necessarily listen to them, but you don't necessarily have to have a physical version of stuff. But not everyone is on streaming, but like I don't know, it'll be interesting to see like how that goes about, because it like feels new but also doesn't, so it's like I'm trying to like grapple with it. Like it seems really cool, but then I'm also like, but then it's also like this
I don't know. So
yeah. I feel like I might have listened to Fallen when it first came out, but that was the start of the month, and I didn't look it back up. Without You's the only one that I like sticks out to me for remembering it is like, because like the phrase of like I'm still in love with you, instead of that it's I'm still in love without you. So like the person's gone, but I'm still in love.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, that makes sense of, I mean, I don't know which ones were from back then and now, but it makes sense for his kind of branding of like play on words, song, lyric wise and stuff from that age. So fits in with that. Next release is Devil in the Desert from Bandana, Cheyenna. And honestly, they've been releasing music nonstop this year. So go check out all of it, because I just feel like sometimes it just feels too much to like mention every single month. So I didn't want to have to but I just didn't want to have to, oh my God, I said half again. I didn't want to have them on each one just to like kind of switch things up and stuff. But go check it out. Like there's a handful of songs from the last 5 months of the year. So, but Devil in the Desert, the hook of it is just very catchy. That phrase, the like melody of the phrase is just very hooky. Wild West vibes. So yeah, go check that one out.
Is this one fully produced?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the other thing, which I think it was January that we talked about the
Acoustics.
album that was like all like voice memo type ish vibe. It's kind of been more so produced stuff. I think there might be a couple that are more stripped down too, but there's a mix of stuff out there. But yeah, Tigirlily Gold put out I Do or Die, which is it's better dig too, but modern now.
I keep forgetting that they keep releasing stuff, but I guess
they finished their next
finishing
album.
their album, so this is all leading to that.
They posted that they have completed the recording of the album. Obviously they haven't like announced when that will be, but it is done. But yeah, it's definitely a better dig 2 vibe of the concept and everything. And then the end of it is like barn burner-esque of like the Ian Munsick barn burner song at the end, where it's like just like going off on all the instruments and stuff with a little melody on top of it. So that's a fun one. Boots, Russell Dickerson featuring Fetty Wap. This man loves to spell.
He does.
That's what I know about Russell Dickerson.
Every single time I see him, I'm just like really putting that Belmont degree to use with your spelling.
It's so silly, and I think it's a good example of a song that doesn't have to be taken seriously, and it's just a fun vibe, and it's not like, it doesn't have to be anything deep.
No, it's fun. It is fun. We really were hoping or thought some guest would come out and maybe Fetty Wap himself. So we're like, is he going to show up to Fetty Wap's show here in Nashville?
Right, because like he did tease people at his Red Rock show about like, I bet y'all are thinking, oh, is Fetty Wap coming out? Guys, he's fresh out of jail.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that. So
yeah, I thought about that. I just was like, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I did catch though, because
he's fresh out of jail and had time to record with Russell,
guess,
so you know.
The chorus says like lips like a red Corvette, but then in Fetty Wap's verse it says like lips like I think it says lips again, but it says brand new Lamborghini or something. I was like, why are we doing 2 cars? But it's fine. It's not meant to be taken seriously, so it's a fun song, lots of spelling.
It is. It's the one I see on my TikTok the most, honestly, and it's just always like just fun. Like it is fun. So it's just fun and catchy.
Yes. Ashley Cooke put out a new song called High School Sweetheart, and it's another play on words one. The hook, the line before it is, being petty won't get you far, this ain't high school sweetheart. So it's a high school sweetheart situation. Your typical someone's talking around the town about you, and it's like, hey, let's not This isn't high school. Let's be adults. And
her
not do
visuals
that.
for it were fun, and she dressed up as like Avril Lavigne for like a school picture shoot. It was fun, so I was interested in it for sure. But I didn't listen to it yet, so
okay. It's a fun. It kind of has a little bit of a throwback vibe to it too. Thinking of, like we mentioned, Crisco, Miranda Lambert for our ACM episode last week. It's not that much disco in comparison, but it still has a little bit of that 70s taste, I feel like, with the like groove of it. And then the next one I had Abbie Callahan, Drag Queen, which is kind of a similar concept and also like play on words of like drag comma queen. So same as Ashley's high school.
But she also the course starts with like dressing up as a drag queen, and she like the visuals for it are all very drag queen.
I looked up I basically just copied and pasted the chorus because I feel like having the whole chorus, like, because there's 2 different ways she does it.
Okay.
Take a drag queen, let that hate go up in smoke, waste your breath on something better than a bitch and moan. If you ask me, you could use a little green, so you'd quit seeing red, and maybe then you wouldn't be such a drag queen. So, like, take a drag, like, marijuana or whatever, and then also, like, don't be a drag. So, she kind of used it in 2 different ways, but it worked well, so.
So, not, like, drag queens
like it's
RuPaul.
Not even close
to,
that's
like, what I thought it was, so
queen.
I was confused. Okay, that makes much more sense.
Yeah, and it is in the title. It does, unlike Ashley Cooke's is no comma, but Abbie does put a comma.
Oh, okay.
So it is in the title as well visually. So
I've seen it get a lot of like attention for it for sure. I personally don't care for the sound of the song, but
I thought it was cute though.
Yeah.
Next, we have Kristian Veech put out his country album, Will, which has been a long time coming. I think he talked about it, right, on his episode?
Yeah, this has been like a 6 to 10 year project.
Okay. 5 years, something like that. But he's been working on this thing forever, so I am glad that it's finally out so that he can just, like, not worry about it.
Yeah.
But also just to be able to
his next album is already supposedly in the works. Yeah, so.
I know that as well.
He does not sleep.
No. But yeah, it's so good. I mean, Steven's been out for a while, but that's just top tier. Yeah. Top tier song.
Did Steven ever hear it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about that, but yeah. I also love My Kind of Cowboy. That's another top one for me on that. I love that imagery. Just me personally. Checks out.
Yeah. I got to work with him for the cover arts of it, and he said he wanted like a different cover art for each song, which I loved because I was like, yes. So he like wanted to put little things, like little Easter eggy kinds of things in each photo, but like they all very much like
cohesive.
We're very cohesive. And so like then I am obsessed with some of the imagery we got for it. It just like looked so good. And
it was funny when you were talking to him about it. I forget where we were, but you're like, I'm so glad I made you get up in that tree.
Yeah. So like, we took them over at this isn't my story to tell really, but we took them over in Centennial Park, and there was like, first of all, a lot of geese poop. Had to try and avoid that when I laid down, and then the geese started attacking us at one point, so we had to move. No. And then we're like walking. Also, half of the like, there's like one half that's like under construction right now, so we had to walk all the way around the pond at one point. So we get to the end of the pond on the one side, and there's this tree over on the lake, like it's like, or pond, whatever it is, I don't know what it is. Anyways, the arm is like sticking out, and I was like, it would be really cool if you got on that. And it's a big tree limb, but also like don't fall in, because I would not trust that water at all. So I was like, can you like, and he's like, oh yeah, just sit here. I was like, no, can you go back? Can you go back a little farther? Can you go back a little bit? Okay, now lay down. And he was like, what on earth? So That's what I do.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm comfortable enough with you to be like, okay, now here's what we're gonna do.
Right. Yeah.
But they looked so good. He was like, I don't want it to be very like water based. It's like more sky nature than it is like grassy ocean kind of nature. And I was like, I totally got that. But like that was like one of my favorite photos that we took. And I was like, it just like the water looks so like crystally underneath it, and like it looked so pretty that I was like, oh, I'm in love with this photo. So
what else did I have with that? 17 at 25 he released like the week before the album came out as like I think he said like a lead off single, but Steven was out before that, so I don't know, but like it definitely fits like the theme and like the whole like, I'm losing words, description of what the album is. Like 17 at 25 is definitely like a good like thesis statement, I would say. And it's a bop, so.
Well, and when he said he was going to do a different like picture for you, I thought he was going to do each one as a single. And then like the next week after we took those photos, he had like said, oh, the album's just coming out. And I was like, oh, that was fast. Okay. Yeah. Like not fast in terms of the long scale of everything, but it's hard, I think, as an artist, is like we sit on this stuff for so long that it's like we just want to get it out. But yeah, no, I thought it was going to be like a much longer out process, and then it was just out. So I was like, oh.
I know he wanted it out before his birthday in June, so that checks out that it came out in May. Also, the beginning of You Ain't Getting Lucky Tonight just kills me. So go listen to that, but also just listen to the whole album. It's so good. Also, Ashley McBryde put out an album called Wild, and the sound of it makes me think of The Outsiders' Eric Church, because it's definitely more of like rock, like leaning into more rock sounds as opposed to country this time around.
Well, it makes sense, and she's been doing her residency at his bar, so.
Yeah. Well, also, The Outsiders was produced by Jay Joyce, and I know Ashley in the past has worked with Jay Joyce a lot too, so I just assumed, but I was like, I should probably look this up just to check. John Osborne from Brothers Osborne produced this, so still makes sense because they are also, Brothers Osborne are also produced by Jay Joyce a lot.
Well, and very like rocky kind of based as well.
It's like Eric, Ashley, Brothers Osborne, Lainey Wilson, like there's others, but those are like the top four I think of with Jay Joyce as far as like all working with him and have that little bit of rock side to them. Gotcha. Little or more, sometimes more, but but yeah, that's a great album. I definitely love her leaning into that more rock side because I think it definitely suits her and her voice and everything too. I saw her post, there's a song called Creosote, which I watched the video. I guess I didn't learn. She basically got on and explained what creosote was.
Okay.
It's something that gets like put over railroad tracks or something. But I love that she got online to like explain what it was.
I just want to say too, people use terms like this as like regular songwriters, and one of the things that has always stuck with me, because I had a song called Window Shopping, and it was like one of my first songs in this town that I was like so proud of, and I wrote it by myself, and I would shop it around all over town, and it had this line, my eyes should look forward, but are trying to catch your gaze. And I had somebody be like, no one says gaze. Like, who says a sentence like that? And then we have people out here saying shit like that. And it's like...
Or like Taylor Swift and all her like
but I was just trying to not use the obvious. But I was just like, gaze is like the like weirdest like sentence that you've ever heard.
Or
like,
you have Faith Hill, Centrifugal Motion.
Like, and they're like, that's not a good song because you aren't using just very common phrases and stuff. I'm like, so yeah, it's always just like
that's
funny.
Such a small word compared to like all these others that are
because it's just not common in how you would say things. And I was just like, who says they're trying to catch your gaze? And I was like, that honestly sounds like something I would say, which is why I wrote it in the song. So it was just always funny that like people get held up sometimes on like the weirdest lyrics in your song, and it's like it doesn't matter.
So check out that album.
I think I want Ashley. First of all, she's just an incredible incredible human being that I like want all the success for her so badly. I will never not cry when I hear "Girl Going Nowhere" anytime I am anywhere. Like I am sobbing in the back. I am like, because it's just like, oh, it hits home so hard, right? And then she has songs like Brenda Get Your Bra On.
Yeah.
And she's so fun and like has the best concert energy. So it's like, I just need her to have more hit songs, especially like that, so that people are going to her concerts more because a lot of her big songs are very slow is the problem. And so I think people get wrapped up and think that she's not a good performer because she sings a lot of slow songs, but she's not, and she's amazing. And all her slow songs are also insanely good, but also, yes, we need more songs like Brenda Get Your Bra On so that we can dance.
She also has like, I have seen clips of her residency at Chiefs, where she changes the lyrics to "I've Been Everywhere" by Johnny Cash, and it's like, I've had every beer, man, and like listing all these beers, because if you don't know that song, it's like Johnny is literally just like listing a bunch of places really fast, and she does that with beer, and I'm just like, this is so witty and so fun. And also kind of ironic because she is sober. But
well, okay, so the residency is also there because she did a speakeasy type bar there.
Well, I think it's just permanently there now.
But it's a non-alcoholic bar. So like it's all mocktails, and it's to celebrate the fact that she's been sober, and that's what the residency was about, as far as and as well as new music and all this stuff. And it's a very like singer-songwritery, very like focused and intentional acoustic style show. It's not like big fancy production and lights and stuff. It's very much like
which that, if you haven't been to Neon Steeple, that's fitting for that environment, because it is like, it's kind of Ryman inspired because of the stained glass windows and stuff, and there's pews, I think, on the upper level, but it is definitely way smaller than the Ryman, so it is like even more intimate.
And it's an intimate little setting, and I love that, and I love that there is a place and that people sell it out too, and I love that
300 capacity,
because the only time that you would ever see something like that was at the Country Music Hall of Fame, when you would go and like see, and it was like, it just wasn't the same kind of attention for a number of reasons. I think it's promotion of the Hall of Fame's part. I think it's promotion of the artists. They announce them so last minute. I think it's, it's a lot more like touristic-y thing where like this is like a show that you're going to, and like you get that intimate setting with an artist. And I think more people need to be doing stuff like that, especially like country artists that have like Hardy did one too, I think at one point. Didn't he, or no?
I don't remember.
Okay, anyways,
but
like
Eric did one.
Yeah, and so it's just like, I think we need more of that, and it needs to be more promoted that like it's a really good thing.
Yeah. Next, Adam Mack put out "Hate to See Me Comin'." It's another like call out to the haters, fun like boot stomper type vibe. His vocals are always so good. And then tying into that as well, the Cowgays, who, if you haven't heard of them, it's Adam Mack, Chris Hausman, and Brooke Eden came together to make a trio. Oh,
that's what that is. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know about that. I knew they'd been doing things as a trio, and I was like, I just didn't put
I wish they were a trio lineup, because unless they're adding more people, because they've been putting out the lineup. Yeah, they said that was just the first round. I'm like, they should be on this lineup, just because like that feels like a good debut for them.
Yes, but also I know that was Brent last year, right? That we saw.
Yeah, Adam and Brooke both played the main stage the year prior.
Yeah, so I guess it's been a year, so yeah, that's fine.
Time.
Brooke was so good at Pride. She was so good.
Yeah.
I don't always like her, but she was so good there.
Okay.
Nothing against, it wasn't anything against. It's just like I don't always like vibe with her, but like I'll cut that out.
But they put out "Good Hoedown." The hook: "Can't keep a good hoe down at a good hoedown."
I love that. So, okay.
Fun song. Go check it out.
That's the shit I try to make Katie sing in our rights anymore. I'm like, okay, but Katie. And you're like, no.
Which, it's funny, I saw a TikTok of like a bachelorette party where they had a banner with like "Last Hoedown" or whatever, and somehow the letters got spread out a little bit, and so it said like "Last Hoe Down."
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
and I'm like, it's just funny timing that I literally just listened to this song.
She should do fun things with like bachelorette party. Like that would be the trio, I guess, that would be good marketing, like doing something with Bachelorettes here on Broadway, or like, because that would be really funny.
Fun. Yeah. I don't really have any like comments for this song, but I did see that Megan Moroney put Traitor out on streaming now. So if you
why does it say
Roles Reversed is, I guess, the alternative title.
It's just that? Okay.
I guess so.
Because I was like, does that mean that like this is a different version of the song or something? But okay. It's a really well-written song, though. It is a really like strong song. It's like, you can call me whatever, because I'll still be the traitor, like, kind of flipping the role of like what happens in the relationship. So like he could have done all of these things. Like,
do we want to just look up
words? I was like, what is it? You're the promise breaker, master manipulator, but I'll call me the traitor. Yeah, because like you're the one walking away. It's like it doesn't matter all like the shit that you put me through.
I know how this will go. It'll all be on me. You'll call me insecure, say you've never met a woman more crazy, look down. That's rude. I had to go away. Look down and point your finger, say we'll talk about this later, like you're doing me some favor. Yeah, you're the promise breaker, master manipulator, but you'll call me the traitor.
Yeah.
And then the bridge is where the roles reversed line is of, you got twisting and turning down to an art, always playing that good guy card. If roles reversed, you'd fall apart. You'd call me a liar, probably set my house on fire. And all that, but
I missed that line and I thought it was like something else, but okay.
I feel like I've seen the bridge on TikTok a lot, so that I knew that was just like an alternate title because I heard the lyric with that in there. But yeah, so that's finally on streaming because it was originally only on the physical copies. So S.J. McDonald put out an EP called We Didn't Make It That Far. It's 4 songs. It's You Say Vegas, Blue Ridge Red, We Didn't Make It That Far, and then the new release from it is Who's Gonna Love You. So kind of similar to what I did with Whiskey and Sunsets, where it's like 4 songs, 3 of which were already released, and then you add one, except she just... the title was one of the songs that was already out and not the new one. But I kind of knew it was leading to something, because if you look at the cover art for each one, there's like a lace frame around each cover art, and I was like, this is on all of them, so it must be leading somewhere. But yeah, so Who's Gonna Love You, definitely, I mean, all of her stuff is kind of like that early 2000s/90s vibe, so definitely in that vein again, but always enjoy listening to her stuff. Kacey Musgraves put out Middle of Nowhere, so finally have a new... I shouldn't say finally, because I feel like the last one wasn't super long ago. But
no,
like,
Deeper... I think Deeper Well was just a little bit forgettable, unfortunately. I feel like this is...
It just was a whole different vibe.
But it was a very different
vibe,
yes.
mean it was bad, it just was... You have to have like a certain setting, I guess, to really listen to that one, if that makes sense, of like you want the more chill vibe when you're listening to that one, versus Middle of Nowhere is definitely going back more into like the Texas and the country type,
and it has like a lot of mariachi-esque music, which was intentional
because like there's
because
like,
she also did
Right by the Border,
the like the mariachi band that like she performed with, that like had been detained by ICE or something like that.
Yeah, she's having them open on a show or something like that. Yeah.
And then like you hear it a lot in her duet with Miranda. So I guess I never knew about their feud. I didn't know that this was a thing really from like forever, but they were like, why are we feuding? This is dumb. And so apparently Kacey was like, reached out and was like, we don't have to be best friends, but like, do you want to do a song together just to like clear the air, essentially?
Like, I think they said they literally said like the title of like, the only thing we have in common is horses and divorces.
Yeah.
So then they wrote about it kind of thing.
And they both like to drink.
Okay. That checks out, but
that's in the song. That's why they said it.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't listen to that song too much.
It's a funny little song. It's like Hell Just Froze Over is the start to the chorus, and it's just like, it's fun. I still think Dry Spell is my favorite song off that album. Yeah. Okay. I know Mexican Honey is getting a lot of attention. Mexico Honey is getting a lot of attention on TikTok right now. because I think there's like you can do the I'm in a good bad girl
good mood. Where my gold hoops? I don't know how much we can go for copyright.
Yeah, so they like do like transitions of getting ready and stuff with it, but also people just like that part of it.
It's just so catchy. Yeah, that one's fun. Rhinestoned is fun.
That one's funny. Yeah.
I mean,
she's
like,
very witty. She is fun and witty, and like that is just who she is as an artist and as a person. So it fits very well.
I also love I Believe in Ghosts just because, you know, me and loving October and fall and Halloween. So like having the like spooky stuff and just like that first line. I don't know. I just love the ironic time of the year for you to disappear.
Oh,
like yes. So I ended up covering Hell on Me, just like throwing it up on TikTok, but I was like, I will save I Believe in Ghosts and probably eventually throw that up there in October or something, because wait for the time of year. But yeah, Hell on Me, I think lyrically and having that stripped down song to end the record was really good choice too. I like when things kind of like die down at the end sometimes. Also just like lyrically love that one. So that's another one I really like. I think Loneliest Girl is the one that's on radio right now.
Okay.
Because I remember them playing it on the radio at work before the album was even out. They're like, we're premiering this. And I was like, oh, okay. Was not prepared for new music yet. But yeah, definitely one of my more favorite albums of hers, I would say. Probably in the top like 3 or so. How many does she have now?
A lot.
6.
Oh, okay.
Very Kacey Christmas was counted, so we're gonna say 6. Golden Hour, Star-Crossed, Deeper Well, Middle of Nowhere. Yeah. So I would probably personally would say like not in any order, but Middle of Nowhere, Golden Hour, and Same Trailer, Different Park would probably be my top 3 out of those. So yeah.
I really liked Star-Crossed.
I didn't care for it too much. I did go see the movie thing though, since they had a
she did a visual album with
a visual album. Yeah, we were thinking she might show up and she didn't. But,
I thought she would have. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Kacey, and then the last thing I had was more so not even really necessarily focused on the new music aspect. I just thought it was interesting because Stella Lefty put out an EP called Is This Heaven? And I've been seeing her on TikTok, and I've been seeing she's starting to get radio play and all this stuff. And like, she's definitely someone who feels like they came out of nowhere because she kind of went viral on TikTok. And we also haven't really had like a TikTok artist in a minute, because I feel like that's kind of, we've hit a point where, yeah, that was a thing in COVID with a lot of people, but now it seems like, okay, maybe that's not the way to blow up anymore.
Yeah, and people are starting to take note of that. Yeah, for sure.
She definitely seems like.
But I honestly saw her stuff at the beginning and was just like, it's really catchy and it's really, she's having fun. And people were like analyzing those videos from the start, being like, why is this working? Because it's 2 friends singing, smiling, laughing, singing a catchy ass song, and then people want to terrorize that and be like, no, she must be a plant and she must be all these things, and she's just a piece of garbage and all this stuff, and the songwriting isn't even good. No, it is. It is.
It's catchy.
It's just because something is catchy and kind of like not the deepest thing that you've ever listened to does not mean it is bad songwriting. There is an art in that own catchy cheerfulness thing, and like people think that you need to be like this tortured soul to write good music, and it's like sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just write a good, fun, catchy song, and that's good songwriting. I mean, look at One Republic. Like a lot besides their earlier stuff.
Talked about
a
Beaver.
Lot of
we literally just said Boots,
and that, but like it's sometimes fun and catchy songs. It's like, I always think of Red Solo Cup and like as Toby Keith, and like the writers are like
that writing is like the verses are very witty and stuff.
Yeah,
too,
but like they like sometimes, and it's hard. And they'll even say it was hard to just let all of like your shit go to be like so intentional about lyrics and just let it kind of flow in its own form. Like that is it is its own little craft of it, because there are songs that are like that are complete shit, because like you can tell that they didn't actually put any thought into it, but there's like an intentionality, like I have a problem with the criticism of it, just because it's like, why can't we just like accept that some people are just like happy, fun little gumdrop people, and this is the music that they created, and like it's not a big deal.
I found an article just because I thought it was interesting, and I do think it's an interesting getting more background on her and stuff, and her rise and stuff. So I figured we just go through that. Chances are, if you are on TikTok, you're already familiar with Stella Lefty's viral hit Boston. The song absolutely blew up when she began teasing it back in February, even drawing attention from Parker McCollum on the very first tease of Boston that she posted.
I didn't know that.
This was just February, and it's already like blown up. And I think I did send it to you, and I was like, this is stick season. So that was the thing I had an issue with, but it is an interpolation of stick season, and Noah Kahan is credited as a writer. Okay. So I'm like, okay, now I'm good with that, because at first I'm like, this is stick season. Why aren't we like having issue with this? This is copyright infringement. It's way too close. But if you're giving credit where credit's due, then I'm like, okay, you fully acknowledge this. Studio version officially dropped in March, and it's already racked up 28 million streams on Spotify, as well as thousands of videos on TikTok. Even Wyatt Flores brought out his Stagecoach Festival performance recently for her to sing. And it's currently sitting at 50. When was this article? Let's check if this was May 4th. So this was like the start of May. It was sitting at 52 on Billboard Hot 100 and 29 on Hot Country Song Charts. So it's like already on charts and stuff as well, not just like a streaming numbers going up and stuff. Her viral success has a lot of fans wondering where she came from and who exactly this artist is, who's pretty much everywhere after seemingly blowing up overnight. Stella Lefty is an indie folk-leaning country artist who dropped her first single, Kiss Me, back in November 2024. She released a few songs throughout 2025, but her first viral hit came earlier this year when she released a song called Thinking About You, which has racked up 27 million streams after first popping off, you guessed it, on TikTok. So she has been putting out music for like several years. It's just now starting to like gain traction.
It's also the fact that people get more mad about this than they do about AI stuff being on charts and stuff. Like,
so she did get signed earlier this year, it appears, to Atlantic Outpost, which is the country and Americana imprint of Atlantic Records, and Sam Barber and Willow Avalon are also some artists on there. Which I think both of those artists have done well on TikTok as well. I think I've seen both of them on there. She's already landing herself spots on some major tours, opening spots for Mumford & Sons and Tucker Wetmore later this year, along with solo shows and festival dates. But with popularity, obviously, comes scrutiny, and many are questioning just how Stella Lefty managed to blow up so fast, and pointing to her billionaire father. Because Stella Lefty's real name is Stella Lefkowski, and she's the daughter of Groupon co-founder Eric Lefkowski, who currently serves as the founder and CEO of Tempest AI, a health technology company. So there are people who are like criticizing and saying she's a rich kid and assuming like her career has been bought by her rich dad. But this article, and I agree, like it seems a little short-sighted, because these days you have to have talent to take off like she has. Like, yes, money does help. We've talked about that. Like, people can have all the talent and, like, the best song and stuff, but, like, if you don't have money for the ads and the marketing...
I was going to say, it probably did help her. Like, let's not be...
It definitely helped.
Yes, it helped. I'm sure it did.
But you have to have quality to begin with.
Then it would have been a different story of, like, we're making this pop off because it's so bad kind of a situation. Yeah. And no, she obviously has talent. Like, she also has, like, a Gracie Abrams thing about her to me. And so I think people are, like, drawn because they already know the look and stuff. And, like, but it's, like, this fun, happy version of Gracie instead of sad and melancholy version. So I think that helps. I'm sure, like, but also... Being rich isn't, like, like, we all want to villainify it so fast, but because we're all trying to be there, like, in that position, like, yeah, I'm sure it, like, helped, and I'm sure it got her in the doors in some places, and I'm sure it, like, so, yeah, like, it's unfair to say that, but, like, also, it's just, like, it's not, like, okay, so, yeah, we acknowledge it, and, like, it's just the only thing that's, like, it's unfair, but, like, yeah.
They do point it out, too, in here of, like, it helps to have money, but there have been artists on major labels that the labels have that money and they're pushing them, and then they get dropped a few years later because nobody's listening to the music. So you do have to have that quality sound and talent and song to begin with first, because if a label with its money can't push someone to be a star, then like a tech CEO can't just push his daughter into stardom either.
Yeah.
Another thing that people seem to be annoyed with is the promotional strategy, which seems to be posting the same clip of her songs over and over again. And there are plenty of comments calling her a one-verse wonder, questioning whether there are even any other lyrics to the song, because most of the clips feature the same short verse. But that's part of the reason the song has gone viral. Yeah. This is how people do it. It's catchy, and when people hear it over and over again, it quickly gets stuck into their heads.
So
I'm kind of...
This really works well because I keep forgetting to bring up this one artist that I've seen too. So here's the thing, is like, people... There's a couple things. People put out their songs, and then they like think that, oh, it's out there in the world, people are going to catch on to it, like I don't need to keep promoting it, and you have to keep posting it. The second thing is that one of the things of advice that I heard, and like just know in general, is like, it does not matter. TikTok is such a way that it's not Instagram, where we can see that like, oh, it's the last 50 posts are the same thing. TikTok is designed to be like, nope, this one's going to go to this audience, and this one's going to go, and so it's the same thing over and over again until that one out of like the 10 that you just posted are the same thing. That one somehow made its way based on what everyone else is posting that day, and that's the thing that got up there. That's what you have to do on TikTok. That is part of the algorithmic strategy of it, and it works. And so then there's another artist named Kacey. Oh god, I'm not gonna remember her last name, but she's more like soul rock, kind of Jessie Murph, but like not Jessie Murph, because no offense, but Kacey is insanely talented. And I saw her at I played a Treehouse Nashville show. It was something like that at this antique store. And she was one of the people that performed after me. She like stopped at, like, had the soulful voice, like very much like, holy crap, who is this person? And she literally cleaned houses all day to fund her music career, was putting herself on tours when she had nothing. She was like, I'm just going to make a tour and do this because this is what I'm doing. And now everyone's like, where did this girl come from? Because now all of a sudden she kind of came out of nowhere. But it's like, she's like, no, I wasn't. The thing that you don't see is she posted her song, that same clip, 500 times before something happened. Yeah. And that is the thing, is like, you're just not seeing it. And like, she's going to get a lot of crap because I think people have seen that same clip and maybe she's not doing something new, but also just because you've seen it a couple times.
When you post on TikTok to promote your music, you are not posting for the people who already follow you. Yeah. Because the way TikTok works is you don't actually really see stuff that are posted by people that you follow that much. Yeah.
Well, and even Instagram started that. I posted a 3-minute video the other day, and it said, if you post this, it's longer than 3 minutes, we will not send out to anybody new. We will only send out to like your... Like, it was weird. Like, it had some weird stipulation with it. But, like, that is how TikTok works. Yeah, is it, like, sends it out to new audiences.
That's another thing of, like, when you're trying to promote your music, you need to try and, like, do your best not to have a mindset of, like, oh, I don't want to keep doing that. I'm being annoying by posting it the same thing over and over and over again. But like, that's how it works now, is like, you just put it out there and hopefully it gains traction, and it's like, your followers aren't probably seeing most of it anyways. So like,
and because how many of you are sitting on your friends page? Like, I'm sitting on the Explorer or like the For You page. I'm not sitting on my friends page. No offense to my friends, but like, it's just not what I'm sitting on my For You page because I came to be entertained by stupid videos or like new things. I'm not sitting to see my friend. Like, it's just kind of how it works. And I want to see my friend's stuff, but I want to see it mixed in with the other stuff. And sometimes it does. But so that's that. But I will even say, even as somebody who loves certain art. Lou is like my big example of this. Like, even though I know I like a lot of her stuff, or like she comes up in my feed, it's about like the third watch until I finally am like, okay, let's hear this song. Mm-hmm. So it took me, even as somebody who is like always interested in that artist, to be like, okay, what actually is this? Yeah. Like, or I see it because I'm at work and I can't hear it, and so I'm just like reading text and I'm not listening to new music. So finally, like, and then the second time I'm like, oh, I don't, it's like, oh, finally the third one. Okay, like, let's actually hear what this is because I keep seeing it. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people work in that same mindset. So you have to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just, I feel like she's getting a lot of criticism because it seems like she came out of nowhere, and because of the fact that she has a rich dad. But, like, that, I feel like people just lashed onto that fact and decided that they want to have criticism that they throw at her. But, like, if you didn't even know anything about her history, like,
I didn't, and I was like, oh, this is a fun, catchy song, and like, I moved on from it, like, and then like, didn't really do much after that. Yeah, I'll give myself that, but like, that's the whole point, is that you have to force somebody to be like, finally, like, okay, what is this, and then dive deep into it.
So she's just like, yes, she's getting this criticism, but she is a prime example of, like, working that TikTok algorithm and, like, doing all the things, and finally, like, something actually gets traction. And I know Alex Warren's another one where it's, like, he said his labels were not, well, he is signed, but, like, no one believed in Ordinary, and he's like, no, this is the song, and he posted it across, like, 8 different accounts, like, 500 times, and then it finally got traction. So, like,
because again, you kind of have to make yourself viral, because here's the thing too, is like, virality comes from using the same audio and stuff like that over and over again. Well, if no one knows about that audio, who's the best way to put it out? So, like, by the 500th time of using that audio, TikTok isn't like, oh, it's the same person. It's like, oh, some people are using the audio. It's not like, oh, that one account is using the audio. It's just like, oh, that audio must be popular. Like,
so
and that's why a lot of times too, you'll see like the clips on some things, like especially for people promoting new music, isn't necessarily the artist official track that got released. A lot of the times the views are under like their profile one of like something that they've titled themselves. Like,
yeah, especially because a lot of people are promoting it before it's out. So then there is no official one to use yet, because you're trying to like gain that traction for the release to ideally like get the pre-saves, or even just like get people to go listen once it does go out, to get on playlists and
have that demand of like, when is this coming out before, especially which is kind of
weird. I know that happened with Lou too, of Someone I Want You to Meet, like how she was posting that before it was out, and then when it was finally out, everyone's like, oh my gosh, yes, and they like flock to listen to the full version of it. So
that's the other thing too, is she's doing it so that you can be like, okay, I've heard this verse about 50 times, is there anything else? And then it forces you to get off of that app, because that is also one of the hardest things is when you
TikTok
are on
has
TikTok
now of like connecting with, is it Apple Music? They started doing something where like you can go find the song and like add it to your library of music. I'm pretty sure it's Apple Music that they're doing it with. Sorry if I'm wrong, but where you can find the song then and get it that way, instead of having issues with like links and stuff, especially with like smaller artists that can't have links in their bio. Like, that's still annoying to me that you have to have 1,000 followers to have links, but like,
well, if you have any comments.
Yeah, if you have any comments on any of that discussion or any of the new music, I just thought, like, yeah, she had an EP come out, and I wanted to highlight that, but also I didn't really know too much about her other than seeing her on TikTok, so I thought that was a good way to learn more and also just, like, have more of a deeper discussion about that. But if you have any comments and any of that stuff, you can send it to themusiclenspodcast@gmail.com, or comment at the Music Lens Podcast on our socials, on our YouTube. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, give us a 5-star rating and help us out that way as well with those algorithms and pushing us out to new people. And you can follow Alex at Alex Laker Music, keep up with her, and you can keep up with me at Katie Fee Music on all the things, and we will see you next time.
Bye.